Welcome to ATB TV. I'm Darren Dance here with Peter Morganti on this Friday morning. We're in the two-state double, Pete. A light muster of runners last week. We've been up here at the Gold Coast for the broodmare sales, and we've moved two on this week. One off the track, Danny Sparkle, half the Behemoth, and La Pietra went through yesterday and made 100,000. No doubt many people that follow racing out there, Pete, would know that away game, $4 million, and racing tomorrow for the new owners. And the other horse, Tafani, $3.1 million.
Monopoly money, Darren. Got to be. A lot of money, isn't it? $4 million for a mare.
Yep. And there was a number of mares in Folder Frankel that went through, and they ranged between $1 million and 1.7. And when you're sitting there watching it, it's like, oh yeah, that one made 300, that one made 600. It's not real.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like every time a horse goes through, it's a house. So
yeah, it's unbelievable.
I don't know if they think there's no recession coming, or interest rates are not going up, or we're not going to fall off the cliff. I don't know what they're thinking, but it's a great time to be selling horses.
If you got a mare and you got Yulong on your case, you got to get your money. Well, as long as there's someone bidding against them, they're prepared to just keep bidding.
There must be an underbidder, but anyway, it's amazing. The market, it's just amazing how strong it is. Well, you can't buy, they're just 2 years. So there's no value. So hence we haven't bought anything. We'll wait till next year.
Yep. That's it. Offload the ones we have, and they've got a result.
Yep.
Not a lot to talk about, as you said, but we'll wind back to last weekend where we went to headquarters and had two runners, both performed very well. We'll talk about Literary Magnet first. Blown out of the multis, I thought she got third. She was always going to run second or third, and then she got the bob after the line and a good bob before it. She did get second or third, but look, she was good. I think all things equal, she carried a big weight. She come from off them. The winner was too good, but she ran up to her first up run, and I think next start, she's going to be hard to beat with any luck.
Yeah, I think it was a barrier in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I still can't believe she didn't run a place like. I still can't believe it. When I had to watch the replay 5 times to try and work out how she ran fourth, but it was just right on the line. She had her head up, and the other two had their head down.
That's all it was.
That was it.
Yeah.
And look, from the barrier, she was always going to be in no man's land and got caught wide. And yeah, she was really good to the line. I thought she was going to kick away there at the 200, but she probably just covered too much ground, and she might be just looking for a tad further.
Yeah.
But yes, the all-up place multi was gone.
By an inch.
And I think all the owners had taken out 2 horses for the place, all up. So there was about 30 of them there that was shaking their head at the finish line replay. But all in all, it was a really good run, and as you said, she's ready to win.
Yeah, I did the same as you. I watched the replay. I kept looking at my multi-ticket. We were on about 20 to 1 between the two. Or if you were smarter early, you could have got bigger odds. And we'll move on. Obviously, Serious Suspect was the other horse we're talking about, and he's finished fourth, beaten 3/4 of a length, probably a neck or half a length off third. He's ran his customary strong race down the straight. Unfortunately, it was those ones that it wasn't the particular horses, but those ones weighted with 54 that just bloody parasite off the back of you. You do all the work up front, and they're just a bit strong late. I think the 4 around him, the 3 in front of him, 1 behind him, all carried 54, and he's got that 2.5 kilos extra, and it just tells late, especially. Those straight races, you can have 10 horses within 2 lengths of you. And if you get 3 or 4 that get a suck run, they just get over you. But look, he was just like a bulldog to the line, and we're a bit stiff not to run third. When I say a bit stiff, he's probably a little bit tardy out of the gate. Whether it made a lot of difference, I don't know, but it certainly it didn't hinder him from giving everything as usual.
Yeah, Luke Nolan really pleased with the horse. He said he's just a warrior. He felt when he jumped sideways and cannoned to the horse next to him, and he felt that cost him a half a length and put him on the back foot, and maybe just the horse grabbed his breath when that happened, but he said he ran brave. He was hanging out a little bit, which is a bit of a concern, but I think the chiropractor's there this morning to go over him. He mightn't have been 100%, but after that bump. But the other thing I'd say is, he's badly weighted at the minute, and it's because he won that Group 3 on the 1st of January last year. Now that calculation of the weight changes from the 1st of August. So that January win in Group 3 level comes off his weight conditions from the first races from the 1st of August. So just the next 2 months, we're going to be penalised for that Group 3. But once we get to August, we won't be. So you'll probably drop 2 kilos going forward. So that's a good thing because he needs to. The other thing is, I was really pleased to see the form around him hold up in the Goodwood.
Yeah.
So Lombardo won well. And the astrologist who we've always been about a length behind the astrologist, I think, in every run, at least a length behind the astrologist. And he's run second in the Goodwood. So that gives you a line through his form and tells you that, you know, he's up to winning one of these. He just probably needs everything to go his way. And he probably needs that 2 kilos to come off. And he probably just needs to jump and travel correctly. And you know, he'll win one of these. I just don't know when it's going to be. So I think at this stage, we don't have a lot of options. So I think we're looking at the Gold Topaz next up.
I reckon it's a perfect race.
So the only reason we won't go there is if it's a heavy track. So, because he doesn't go in the wet. So that's the race for him. It's lengths slower. Well, sorry, not lengths slower. It should be lengths weaker than what he's been running. So you can go the Gold Topaz if it's a good track. Otherwise, he's got to go back to Flemington and have I suppose, a run over 1100 to keep him ticking over. And then there's a nice race about 3 weeks later over 1200 at Flemington. So got a couple of options there. So it's just going to depend on the weather. But I wish we could get rid of that extra 2 kilos from the Group 3 now. But anyway. We've got the money in the bank. We can't argue, but hopefully we can get up to your old stomping ground. You've had a few wild nights up there on the drink. Your name's on a few walls around the place.
We have collected that Topaz trophy up there with Exurius. I do remember.
It's a long weekend in June. So
yeah, we're going this year. We are going. We have had 2 COVID-free years, but speaking to Beck the other night, and our room's still there if we want it. So we decided, oh, bugger it, we need to get away. So
yeah, good on you. Oh, well, you'll have a runner.
Have a runner, yeah. So we'll be able to, yeah, well, it's funny. I after the race, I sat down and I thought, you could probably run that race 10 times and get a very similar result, but maybe with different winners, just for the fact you know, all your opposition lines up behind you when you're a front runner. They find their posies just off you. I just reckon now with that weight, I just think it suits you better on a circular track. You'll have 2 just behind you, but then the field flags away to 6 and 8 and 10 lengths behind you. And I reckon Swan Hill, like Sale, well, we got beaten by 2 Group 1 or potential Group 1 performer and a horse in Brooklyn Hustle that's running about 10 Group 1s. They were the only ones that got past us. The horses like Lombardo and a few of those were behind us, and we've seen the form since. I just reckon his race pattern up on the speed at Swan Hill, which can favour, you know, horses on pace if the tempo is right. I just see him, like whoever rides, you sit on him sweet, just build up his pace to the 300 and then just go. I reckon that's where he can win a race. And you're talking a race of 100, 150,000. Like, it's a good money race. Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, we'd just like to see him back in the winner's circle.
Oh, well, it's been a dozen odd starts. He's probably had 12 starts without winning, his last 12, but he's probably earned 130,000. It's just getting that far.
The horse, he just deserves a win, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So if we go Swan Hill, I reckon it's a good option. But then, you know, if we get a wet track, well, we know he runs well down the straight. So those other 2 options gives us a chance as well. So, but he hasn't let us down. He had, I think, when he has probably performed poorly, it's been of the race shape or a barrier, or he's been over the top. And they're the only time we see bad runs. But
think this prep is probably more consistent.
Yeah, I think so.
He's running more consistent.
Fourth, third, fourth. We've been around about and behind good horses. Yeah, he's up with the horses that run around this time of year. And as you said, Goodwood probably proved that. You know, he's probably going to be. He would have been a top 5 finisher over there. Easily.
Amazing, isn't it? Not much difference.
No, and I think, but in that class, 2 lengths is a long way, isn't it? Or a length is a long way. You know, he's right on their haunches, and like you said, if we can get that little bit of weight relief going forward, it gives him a good opportunity to win another. And it's not beyond the realms. He can get past that $750,000 mark and a bit further, edging their way. Arizona Dreaming. We went to Sandown, and Matt Kamani was pretty bullish about how this horse would go. And all things equal, he probably had the hardest run of the race. 3 wide, no cover. A little bit of cover around the corner, but I mean, he'd already ran 800 metres by then, and finished 7th, beaten under 2, and was still charging through the line. He was going through the line as good as anything. Just the ones that had the softer run were able to just sprint when it counted. And nice run, I would say. Nice effort.
Well, he wasn't beaten far, was he? And he did look. The barrier probably stopped him running top 3.
Yeah.
And he wasn't beaten far. So I thought it was a very, very good run. I think it's the old story, isn't it? You win your maiden, you go to town, you normally get beaten at 64. Happens sometimes. But I think next start, with that run under his belt, better barrier, I think he'll be right in the finish.
Out to a mile. I don't think he'll have any trouble running a mile. It was 1,400 the other day. It was beat 1.7. And if he didn't cover 10 yards more than anyone else, I'll go he. And I love the fact that Dean went there to ride him, where he could have had a full book at wherever it was, Wangaratta or wherever. So, I agree. It'd be hard to beat wherever he goes. I wouldn't be scared if he went back to Sandown over a mile. 3-year-old company. Yeah. So well, there are our results. All ran well. All ran super, really. No knock. We never got one place getter out of them. The way racing goes, eh?
Yep.
So going forward, we've got 4 to talk about. 2 we know, the acceptances, and as we speak now, the Hamilton fields will be put together for Tuesday for our jumpers. But the 2 we can discuss are Sea Princess today on the poly track here at Ballarat. Love it or like it. The synthetic racing's back in vogue for 3 or 4 months. Will Price stays at 1,400, benchmark 58. She's a $6 chance. I think you said McAvoy's have got the favourite. And they chalk up a lot of winners on their home track on the poly. But she's there to run well 3rd up.
Yeah, she had a little issue last time, so we've got to put a line through that last run at Kyneton. So I think we go there today a lot more confident. McAvoy's got the even money favourite, and they're deadly, aren't they, on their home track, as you said. So obviously that's going to be the horse to try and get past, but whether we can or not, I don't know. But I think it's the last race too, Pete. It's almost at dark time. So
4:30.
She'd want to be showing us today that we're going to push on. Really would want to be showing us today that we're going to push on with this mare. If she runs poorly today, we'll probably pull up stumps, I think. So I think that wider gate will be good because she might not get so much kickback and you can put her where she needs to be, because on that synthetic, they scoot along, they sort of bounce along, and if you're too far back, you just can't get them. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out.
Seems to be leader or behind the leader, like close up behind the leader, and then they get a kick and they roll off, or momentum and get running down the crown of the track, and they seem to get home down there. So I think from gate 8, Will Price, he would have ridden the track a bit. She'll get her chance, but whether she's good enough to knock off. I think she's got to run 2, 3, and be hitting the line, like you said. You don't want to be finishing any further back at a 58. So that's today. Nothing on Saturday, where I think they race at Caulfield in town. Sunday we go to Mildura, trip up the Sunraysia Highway, I think it is, for Mitch and a Dandy Man. obviously looking for a little bit firmer track. I think it's rated a 5 now, but we've got some good weather over the next 2 days, so should fit perfectly into a probably a 4 around about. Benchmark 70, 1400, gate 3. He seems to have trained on okay still. He gets his chance. I had a quick look through the form. It's even. There's a couple there. Ma and Eustace, you can't get away from them. And Paddy Payne, he seems to get a lot of winners up there. But I think at Danny Man's best form, he's right in the race. Now, you know, whether he's had enough, who knows? I don't know. His last run at Sandown indicated he's still in good form. He had no luck that day with Preble on, but yeah, don't know. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, we're only going there because we're on the firm surface, and it's a good race. I think it's got a $20,000 Vopers gold bonus on it as well. So
yeah,
the equivalent of a city midweek race, really, if you can win it.
Hence
we're
the
going.
form.
Yeah, we're going there because we want that firmer ground. I'd say there'd be a number of horses in that race that would be going there because they can't win anywhere else.
Yeah.
But we're going there because we want that firm ground, and I think we'll be, we've got to be an each way chance there, you'd think.
Well, Mildura suits his racing style, you know, up on pace. It's a bit of a tight turn in. I mean, the straight itself probably 300 metres, but it's a tight turn into the straight, so you can gain an advantage there if you're an on pace runner. So hopefully he can get a nice lead and be rated and kick clear.
Exactly what I was going to say. If you can just get a nice even lead without having to do too much work,
yeah.
And if they just sit off him, hoping he'll stop and he can kick, work cut out to get him. But if he folds up, then, well, I think whatever happens after Sunday, he's coming home to the paddock anyway.
Have a break, yeah. I know. It's important because you take that little bit of energy out of your locker. That's what you need to fight him off late. So, and he probably has. I mean, last start he was just wide, but a couple other times. I think Ararat's a prime example. He got taken on, but he was too good there. If he gets the same run.
It's interesting when Preble said he was caught wide and had to do too much work, and he was brave, and if he draws well, he'll win one of these Sandown races. Well, we're going to Mildura, mate. If he's only got to run up to those comments, and he should be right in it.
Well, if it was 2 lengths weaker, he wins it, doesn't it? I mean, it's probably got to be at least 2 lengths, maybe 3 lengths weaker. So
I think it's just the last 50 that we'll be watching.
Yeah. As I mentioned, Hamilton, we've got 2 jumpers at Hamilton. Hamilton's a track we've had a lot of winners over the years. We've never had a jumps winner. We've never had a jumps runner. So maybe we can tick off a first there. We've got Periscope, who was very good at May. His hurdle, well, not his debut, but his first run this prep. He ran 3rd. Then he had about, was it a flat race at Stall where they ran about 4 laps of Stall just to tune him up over 3,600 or 3,800. And we don't know the fields. There's 37 nominations, so I'd say there could be 3 maiden hurdle races. Probably a lot of that depends who we strike, because all the good, the trainers are there with nice maiden horses. So let's hope we find the weakest race. Not that he needs the weakest race, but it just makes it easier if you do. He's got to run well. He's just a consistent horse, and he's taken to jumping really well.
Yeah, we just want to tick that maiden off, don't we? So, he went in the Warrnambool race. It was beyond him at that stage, probably. As you say, he's had another fitness run. So, he goes to Hamilton and he's going to be in it up to his ears. He's just got to get around safely, which is always the concern. But I think Pat's pretty happy with him. I think he's got him where he wants him now, and hopefully we can go there and get the job done. Might
be a unique double, Darren. He won his maiden at Hamilton on the flat. He might win his maiden over the jumps there. So
I reckon he's had 40 runs between.
I think he won his maiden. Shane Jackson was looking around. He won by about 6 that day. I was on the hill with John Clements, and it's amazing. You sort of think you win by that much, you're just going to win another race shortly. But we've waited nearly 2 years. So
a lot of issues.
Yeah, that's right. But look, he'll be there roundabouts, I've got no doubt. Magnanimous Man is nominated for the Open Steeplechase. There was 16 noms, so it'll end up being a field of 8 or 10. Obviously, or always been a half a run or a run short. Went to Warrnambool, travelled well for 3/4 of the race, and then got tired late. So hopefully now a bit fitter, and it's a big drop back in class. Yeah, we'd be wanting to see something. I don't think we're going to get a heavy track. We'll have a track that's probably in the 5 range, because that's the way they suit these tracks up for the jumps races. Hamilton usually has plenty of give in it. So, yeah, interesting to see how we go. Hard to make comment.
Yeah, I think he's a bit of a watch horse. He may still be another run away.
Yeah.
I think Patton, he said he needs heavy. So
yeah,
maybe, we just have a look. But his class will take him a long way, because he looked good in that race at Warrnambool until, as you said, he hit that jump on the way down and knocked the wind out of him. But I'm not sure really what to think. But I guess we'll know more after we see him go around on Tuesday. If he happened to come out and win there, yeah, you'd say, wow, we're going to have a good prep for the rest of winter. But just think he's probably going to benefit from whatever happens at Hamilton.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the track, like a lot of people worry about that coming down the hill with some of these old blokes, but he handled Warrnambool all right. That's up and down and everywhere. So I just think you want to see him into the race at some stage in the home straight. He's around about, and like you said, this will fit him up nicely. And we get any rain, that's probably his go. So, yeah, so they're the two, and no other noms for the rest of the week. Sandown, Echuca, Pakenham Synthetic. I think we were talking off air. What did you mention? Southern France is getting towards the pointy end of track return. Obviously, the likes of Arizona Dreaming and all those will be sometime towards the end of next week as well, or the week after. Yeah, not a lot on the race board, but yeah.
No, Norris will be first up shortly.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Have another spin around shortly.
He trialled really well.
Stonham's gone to the paddock. She'll be set for the spring.
Talk about a horse that had no luck in the preparation. That's just unbelievable. I mean, you would never expect just to keep copping those wet tracks with any horses. I mean, even if you sent a wet tracker up there, some of the tracks didn't suit, did they? Like, they were heavy or heavier.
Oh, it's just, look, it's right off this whole trip. We got on the wrong foot at the start. We're a couple of weeks late, and then, we went looking for races in Sydney, and it didn't stop raining. It takes a toll. So I think the right thing to do was just abort the prep while I still had a sound horse. And as they've said, we'll concentrate on trying to win a Group 1 with her in the spring, because you can see how much these mares are worth when they finish. So
absolutely.
It's the right thing to do by the stable. And the other horse, Detonator Jack, obviously is in the paddock now, and he'll only have a short break as well. So then we'll get him set for the spring. So got a couple of nice young horses coming through, and there's a bit to look forward to in the spring for us.
I think too, saving that run. Hopefully that's the run we find with Steinem. You're not taxing her now, so she goes to the paddock in good nick, and it won't take a lot to get her up. We're due now. A lot of horses are in work for the spring now, just coming back into work. So it probably works perfect, You've got to make the hard decision now for the betterment of the mare and her chances in the spring. So I'm
sure there'll be a lot of horses that race through Sydney and Brisbane this year that won't come back in the spring. They just won't come up. So,
a lot are going to be well taxed, aren't they? Like, you can't just keep running on heavy tracks.
Hopefully we're not one of them. So
yeah, and a lot of the opposition she had won't be there. Your Colettes and all those, and like her spring preparation last spring was really good. Like, she was winning at Caulfield. I think she was second behind Colette. She was not far away in the Empire Rose. I think it was the Empire Rose. Yeah. So she only has to marginally improve, and she's right in those races as an older mare now.
Yep, I agree. All right, well, that's it for the week.
Yep. We'll be doing similar next week, Darren, probably Zoom up again.
Yep. Who's going to win?
I like a Dandy, man. I just reckon as long as he's not past the end of his prep, sometimes you see those runs like you had a hard run and then the next one's like, oh, geez, we should have pulled up stumps. But I think if he gets his way, $3 or $4 chance, that'd be the go. I mean, Sea Princess can run well, but I think with these underperformers, you'd like to see it happen. You know, a Danny Man's already a city winner. And I think Periscope, that'd be the two for me.
I think I'm going to lead my multis alone this week.
You'll get 20 to 1 there, $4 into $5.
Don't tempt me. I'm going broke slowly.
Well, you get no. Well, look, we've got two good chances. We've probably got two good chances, an each way chance. And look, a magnanimous man, it's hard to put a finger on where he'll be until we see the field and conditions. But, they're all there to run well.
All right. Well, until next week, we're going to have a nice weekend. Enjoy your week. Enjoy your weekend. And I'm Darren Dance with Peter Morganti. Tune in next Friday.
See you guys.